Hi everyone, Natasha here, and around my home today we are in the kitchen for an exciting project that I'm beginning today. So if you saw my other video, I showed you a change we made recently to the kitchen island where we took out the little hand washing vessel sink that was installed there. So now we're moving on to phase 2 of some of these kitchen updates I've been wanting to make for years. So it feels really good that we're finally sort of moving forward with these projects, and I'm excited to share with you what we're going to be doing. Okay, so here's the kitchen island. That is the spot where the vessel sink and the faucet had been installed, and we recently got that removed, which is exciting. So this space over here, I have not shown you too much of this corner here on my channel simply because it is this. It's not much. There's not much I can do with it, and it's sort of been one of those frustrations for me ever since we've bought the house and moved in, but it was just one of those things I couldn't do a whole lot about it. So now things are changing and we're doing something about it. So what this is actually a 3-bowl stainless steel commercial dishwashing and sanitization sink. So there used to be a long sprayer, commercial sprayer that came up like that, and my dad recently disassembled that. So we have that in the basement that'll go for sale with the sink eventually. So my dad also had some scraps around, so he made me this top which just sort of sits down inside the sink so I could at least set some things on it. But you can see there's still faucets installed here, and those have never been taken down, plus the sink itself is all still there. And it's not been ideal. I mean, I kind of store things under there, but there's my cleaning caddy, but it has these legs and it's got the deep sink underneath of it, so it's hard to get much underneath of it. So the plan is I would like to make this into my just little command center here in the kitchen, a place for me to write out menus and do a little paperwork if need be, do my planning in the morning. So what we have in the basement is a cabinet that looks very similar to this as far as the size of the doors. However, it is double the depth. It's the depth of the top of a refrigerator. And a long time ago, when they first remodeled this kitchen, it was installed here and it went over the other family's refrigerator. And this, just due to some different changes that were made, that all got moved and taken out and this sink was installed. Well, it's time to get the sink out of here. And so actually, in talking with the gentleman who designed our kitchen, he suggested maybe we could take this cabinet that we have in the basement and cut it in half depth-wise so that it could look similar to this. So the back half of the cabinet would become like a bookshelf that would be on the bottom here, and then the upper part of the cabinet or the front part of the cabinet would go just above it there. So it would look very similar in that it would have, whoops, the sun's peeking through. It would have just a similar thing on this side. It's going to be a little bit shorter because it's only as tall as what the upper part of the cabinet is. But today I'm heading to my dad's house. He's got his saw set up so we can hopefully cut the cabinet and work on remaking it so that it will fit and install there. And the good news is we know it fits because it was designed to be in that corner. So as far as the width of it, it should be just fine. It's just a matter of getting the two pieces cut apart and then putting it back together again. Okay, I'm here at my dad's house, so I'm gonna head to the shop with him and we'll get started. So here is the cabinet. My dad's already removed the doors that were on, and he has it set up to where we can work on starting to cut it in half. So we're gonna be cutting it along here and straight across the back so that it makes two pieces. And then the back section will get stacked underneath so that there'll be an upper portion with cabinet doors and then an open shelf below it. Okay, so we've got it cut in half. We have another couple of cuts to trim it, but this part up here we'll add the doors back on eventually. We had luckily some matching trim that we'll rip in half, and then that'll use to trim out the part that'll be just a bookshelf, and so far so good. We have the two cabinets on the floor, so we can work on creating a back for this one. So this is the one that has the existing doors and trim already on it. And this was the middle of the cabinet, and now we're going to make a solid back to go in there. And this is going to be the new front of the bookshelf or the shelf area. It'll just be an open shelf, so we're working on the trim pieces for that. So we got the back all attached. My dad pre-drilled and then added some screws all along the top and along this side and the bottom. And this is the side that's going to face out in the kitchen, so we can't put a screw on that side, but I think it'll be pretty secure. It's pretty solid and heavy now. And then for the next time I come out, we'll have to work on finishing up the trim on this section of cabinet, and then it'll be time to figure out how to install it. Okay, it is the second day, so we got a lot done that first day. I'm back out. We're going to work on trimming out that bottom open cabinet that still needs some trim added to it. So let me show you what's been done so far. All right, so that's the piece where we added the bottom. So that's pretty much ready to go. And this is the piece that is the back of the cabinet that needs a front added. So my dad added these little trim pieces here so we have more to secure the decorative trim that'll be on the outside. So those will get added, and we can glue, and he's got the holes pre-drilled so we can screw as well. So that should be pretty secure once we're done. So we're going to work on that. So this is a dry fit. We've got all the pieces cut and fitted together, and we're going to be working on using this kit here, which you can use to cut an angled or to pre-drill an angled hole and join together. And that's actually what we used to fix the little mistake here, but I think when it's all up it's going to be nice and strong. That Dad added those screws in, and then there was part of the kit was these little plugs that went in there, so those were all glued in and it's sanded down. And I think when it's all together, it's going to be minimal, and I'm not sure you'll ever even know it was there. So just part of how it goes. Is all glued, and the top one is pretty well dry. All finished. The only thing left to do is to hang it, and then once we hang it, we'll put both of the doors back on, but we're just keeping them off since we need to be able to hang the cabinet first. But I am super excited, and I can't wait to get it home and get it. Good morning. It is Monday morning, and I just walked my daughter to school, and I'm excited because yesterday my dad and I got to the point where we should be able to start installing the new kitchen cabinets and desks today. So I will take you along. My dad is here, and I'm getting ready to start clearing off my little corner sink and what's been stored underneath of it. So I'll show you that in just a minute. Our kitchen was designed a little differently, and when we bought the house, this commercial sink was already installed. We do not need it, so I'm excited to finally get it out of the kitchen and get in some useful pieces of custom designed furniture. So once we had the cabinet up, then the next challenge was getting the trim installed. We were luckily able to find exact match for the top and bottom trim at Lowe's. So we got those pieces cut to fit, stained, and coated with a few coats of polyurethane, and my dad used his air nailer to install those. And of course it was a little bit of a challenge because it's an old house and nothing is square or true, but we got them up. And then the final thing was my dad found a scrap piece of laminate that matches the interior of the cabinets, and we used that to cover up the side where there had been some stains from being stored in the basement for so long. And here it is, the final cabinet. It is wonderful to have it up, and I am really enjoying it. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for the next video where I'll show the custom built desk we installed just below it. Have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.